When everyone's got an EV, they're simply going to hike up the prices so you get no more cheap motoring. Won't be worth having an EV. Have you heard that one? I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On. Well, let's see. I love the anti-EV brigade and their mutually exclusive arguments for not having an EV. Like, if all EVs plugged in at once, the grid would crash, there's just no capacity. And then the next time it'll be, well, there aren't enough EV chargers for everyone to plug in all at once. Well, come on, which is it? Now, cheap electricity, we're only going to be talking here about people who can and do charge at home. Now, I know there are people out there who can't charge at home. This video is not for you. Not yet. So if you can't charge at home and this is a major worry to you, what I would suggest is, with some of the new developments happening, just hang on a short while and it will swing over in your favour very much. So I'm going to concentrate here on people who can charge at home. When we look at public chargers, they can charge any price they like. So the likes of GridServe and Ionity and Osprey, they want to charge £1 a kilowatt hour. There's nothing to stop them from charging £1 a kilowatt hour. Apart from one thing, and that's market demand. We already see it. There's a charger in Banbury, which is an Osprey one, which is 79 pence a kilowatt hour, and alongside it is a Tesla supercharger open to all. And as a non-member, you don't pay anything, don't join anything, just turn up and charge. Tesla will offer you about 60 pence a kilowatt hour. And every time I go there, I've been there quite a few times, nobody's using the Ospreys and everybody's using the Teslas. So market demand will dictate the price. You can't just put your price up to £1 a kilowatt hour and expect people to use it. So there is a reasonable limit. Now, when we come to home charging, the utility companies can't do that. They can't hike the prices only to EV owners. And that's because they don't know who they are most of the time. I'm sure they can tell from the usage, but they can't prove it. So, if you are home charging, the very worst that can happen is you go onto a standard tariff, which is currently 27 pence per kilowatt hour. And 27 pence a kilowatt hour is a cheap rate. The cheapest you'll get out in the open market is a Tesla supercharger off-peak, and that will be down to about 25p, but it's not worth driving down to a supercharger to save 2p per kilowatt hour. It's £1 on an average battery. So you've got a limit to what they can do with the home electricity bill. Now, because not everyone has an EV, in fact, most people don't, the idea of the government hiking the prices of all electricity bills to every single home in the UK just to stop a few EV owners getting cheap electricity is plainly ludicrous. That won't happen. The outcry would be dramatic. So they can't hike up the prices. But what we do get is we get the cheap overnight rates. So can they stop them? Well, yes, they can. But why do they offer them? And that will tell you whether they'll stop them or not. See, overnight, the grid produces far more electricity than it can use. Things like wind turbines are churning away, some of the gas stations, some of the nuclear ones, they're all churning away, producing a low amount of electricity, but we use even less. So there's a huge capacity overnight to be able to sell more electricity to the members of the public. And they sell that cheap electricity overnight by offering a cheap price rate. So they might drop the price from 27p down to 7p, 7.5p. And that means there's an awful lot of people with EVs will grab those with open arms and say, yes, please. And that helps the utility company because they can take on far more customers and they can make a nice profit on those who are charging at off-peak rates overnight. So there is no incentive whatsoever for the utility companies to stop offering these overnight rates. But if they did, all that would happen is we'd drop back to 27p, and 27p is a really good rate. Not as good as 7.5p, but it's still a good rate. Now, the anti-EV brigade also say, they're going to increase the VAT from 5% to 20%. I mean, not a lot of people out there know, but domestic electricity, that's for your house, it's charged at VAT charged at 5%, whereas commercial electricity is charged at 20%. And so the public EV chargers are charged VAT at 20%. So, are they going to raise the price of the VAT on your home electricity bill to match the 20%? Absolutely not. There's no chance in the world that that's going to happen. The reason is people are already struggling with their electricity bills. The 5% is something that we take for granted, and any government that tries to increase that to 20% is not going to last even a couple of minutes. In fact, the opposite is happening. There's a bill going through Parliament to try and get the commercial rate of VAT, 20%, down to 5%. And that makes total sense. You can't really have VAT at different rates on the same product, electricity, just because you're a shop. So what is likely to happen is the public charges and the commercial properties will see their VAT on their electricity bills drop from 20% down to 5%, and all parties are supporting this. So that means if it happens, and we suspect it probably will, then the public EV charges will come down in price quite significantly just on that alone. And they do have to pass that on to us. So that's on the buying electricity market. What about people who generate it themselves? You see, the government can't interfere here. If you put panels on your roof and a battery in your garage, you can generate your own electricity. They can't control what you do with that. So if you've got PV panels, what will happen is during the day, when you're out at work or whatever it is you do, then they will charge the batteries up until they're full. When you get home, you'll be able to plug your car in and you will be able to charge your car back up on the stored electricity. And this would apply even if your property is off-grid, so you don't use any grid electricity at all. You can generate all your own, store it in batteries and run your total property off the battery. And people will say, oh, hang on a minute, I've got a 50 kilowatt hour battery in my car and my home battery is only 10, 12, 15 kilowatt hours, so I can't possibly charge my car up. Of course you can, because the average mileage in the UK is 20 a day. 140 a week, 8,000 miles a year. That's the RAC figure. What that means is that if you're only doing 20 miles a day, you jump in your car in the morning, you drive to work, you drive home from work, maybe out to the shop, that's 20 miles. And even the worst EV in the world will only take 5, 6 or 7 kilowatt hours to do that. So every night you get back, you're missing about 5 or 6 kilowatt hours. And yet your home battery is holding 10, 12, 15 kilowatt hours. You can easily top up your battery every day. When you come home, just plug it in and it'll be full again the next morning. The number of days you will arrive home with zero charge left in your battery are pretty much nil. The only time that might occur is if you don't plug in every night, or if you go on a trip and arrive back with it very low. But even adding 10, 15 kilowatt hours of electricity for free, that's a good start for your battery. And that'll give you enough to start getting you back to work the next day. And each day you can charge back up a little bit more. And by the end of the week, if there's been a reasonable bit of weather, you'll have your battery full once again. But it's getting even better than that. When we look at the utility companies, there's a disruptive technology heading towards the UK and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. This is Tesla Energy UK. Now, Tesla in the States already is a utility company and the flagship model is in Texas. There they are, a utility company. They generate their own electricity. They can use all the PV panels on their factories, on their houses. Everyone who has panels, Tesla, can get access to that green free electricity. They feed that into storage batteries. Over there, they got mega packs full of these free electricity. And so they've got a massive amount of electricity. So if you sign up for Tesla Energy in Texas, you get a special offer if you're a Tesla owner. You pay $25 a month and you get unlimited home charging of your Tesla EVs every single night between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. the next morning. Now, imagine that. Doesn't matter how far you drive in a day, come back at night, you'll be able to top it up again to full the next day. Free. This is about as close to free EV motoring as you can possibly get. So, are they coming over here? Yes, they've already registered as a utility company in the UK. It's called Tesla Energy UK. And they've appointed a marketing manager to get this off the ground. Probably not going to be here for 2 or 3 years, unfortunately, but sooner or later Tesla will start operating in the UK as a utility company. Now, in the meantime, Tesla are installing grid-connected megapacks like they're going out of fashion. We in the UK, up in the northeast, have Europe's largest grid-connected battery pack in Europe. It is simply massive, and these are going in all over the place because it's so profitable to buy a battery. Let everyone else produce the electricity. You just buy it cheap when it's cheap, store it, and then sell it back when it's dear. You can make a profit just by owning a battery. So, when that arrives in the UK, those with a Tesla, it's not available to BMW or Hyundai or anyone else, it's only Tesla motorists, but Tesla owners will be able to register for Tesla Energy UK, and we are hoping and anticipating that we will be offered £25 a month for unlimited EV charging between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. every single day. That is what we mean by disruptive technology. When that is on offer, have a guess what the other utility companies are going to have to do. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Dave. Well, thanks very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe and click the notification bell so we can notify you next time we launch a video. And a massive thank you to all our Patreon supporters. It is your support that enables us to go out and make these videos for you. So thank you very much for your contribution. I'm Dave.